Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin on this glorious NFL schedule release day as we've pretty much got the information all leaked. I feel confident in saying that. I want to give a shout out to Ryan. Pack Daddy himself over at Packernet Podcast, who set up a website here to kind of track all the leaks coming out and then putting the schedule together as it falls into place. And I feel pretty confident he's got it 100% right here. And I'm sure he feels the same way. So hopefully everybody's having an awesome day out there as we're going to go through and kind of look at the schedule and make some way too early predictions. That's kind of the tradition here. You know, I remember when we first did this, Tim, Jacob, it was, we're going to wait and stew on it a little bit, and then we'll give kind of our early predictions. And then we got halfway through the show, the schedule release, like, hell with it. Let's go ahead and pick them right now. Let's do this. So obviously it's not the final picks we'll make, but yeah. Anyway, how y'all doing tonight, fellas?
Doing good, man. Navigated through the rumor mill. It's official now, right? A couple people had to walk back some posts, but other than that, the schedule is here. I'm looking forward to breaking it down.
That's all part of it, man, right? You got to every now and again, listen, man, you can't bat 1,000, right? You're going to miss on some, especially when you're trying to get the info out early. Jacob, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It was another scorching hot day in Wisconsin. It was like mid-80s. I saw my first cannoli in the wild today. I wasn't able to pounce it, eat it, or, attain it, but I know where they live now, and I'm going to go conquer that goal of mine. Emilio was really proud. He was
so many things excited. I want to say right now. I'm just holding it together.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to give him
some. Yeah, it was exciting when I seen that text come through and Jacob had shared a picture of a cannoli. I immediately thought, did he just download that off the intraweb, or did he really find one out there in his part of Wisconsin? It seems like the closer you get to Minnesota, things just get weird over there, Jacob. Am I right about that?
That's correct. Yep.
Dynamite drop in money. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the schedule release. Hey, fam, you're out of control, sir. Okay, that's all I got to say. Yeah. All right, here is the website that Ryan put together. As we've got an official countdown, we are 115 days away from Packers Lions Week 1 at Lambeau Field. Now, the times may not be 100% accurate, but let's just kind of go into the schedule here. And I'm sure Emilio will be joining us here shortly. We'll get his take on it. And make sure you guys go check this out. He's also got a link where you can support what he's put together here, just a way to kind of keep up with the schedule as the season goes along. And I love the countdown there, the ticker. So with that being said, let's start off with Week 1, guys. I'm really excited about this. Been saying forever, Tim. I know you and I have talked about this. Can we not get a Week 1 at Lambeau Field? And listen, maybe not a primetime game. Just get us kind of a Sunday NFL kickoff type deal, right? And as you can see here, it looks like the Lions most likely will be playing at Lambeau Field Week 1 on Fox, 3:25 kickoff. You'll get a little shadow casting across Lambeau. It don't get any better than that, man.
Let's go. Beat Detroit, man. I love it. It's been I see hell froze over finally. We get to kick off the season at Lambeau Field. You guys remember the last time we had a home opener or an NFL kickoff opener at Lambeau? It was the infamous
my knee.
That was the last time, guys. It seems like ages ago. So I'm fired up, man. 3:25 kickoff. Let's go. Beat the Lions at home. Let's get it.
Yeah. What do you think, Jacob? How you like that, man? Get the Lions, the big bad Lions in here on Week 1 at Lambeau.
I remember back in the day, it didn't seem like the divisional opponents were usually the first or second games. It always seemed like they were grouped up towards the second third of the season and then the last part of the season. And part of me likes the way that this now, it seems like they want to start the season and end the season, which I'm sure obviously makes for tighter divisional races and matchups, better ratings, the whole 9 yards. I get that part of it. I just think that it does stink because teams are so drastically different from week 1 to week 17 that you really don't get a fair dose. But I think that it's just the way that the scheduling people have shifted that way, and I think it does make for better, more competitive football. So in that aspect, I like it. I just hate the fact that if we come out and for whatever reason, if we're not ready to go week 1, that we immediately start with a loss to probably our biggest division rivals right now, which would be the Lions.
Oh, we'll be ready to go.
Get ready to go.
I swear. I love the fact that it's at home, though. I mean, if we had to play a tough game right out the gate, having it at home on Fox 325, if that's what it keeps up to be, I'm excited.
Looks like we got 2 tough games at home on a short week to kick off the year here. Sunday football and Thursday night football. Detroit
that
and
surprised
Washington.
me.
Yep.
Yeah. So now we have got the official dropped here. So because some of these
look at that. Ain't she purty? Look at that.
Some of these times that Ryan had here, and he talked about that. The times, the days may be a little off, but he feels pretty confident that the weeks were lined up just right. So let's go ahead and drop that other one down. Can you guys see that okay? Is that all right? Or do we need to go to a tweet and zoom in, you think? Can y'all see that all right?
It'd be maybe a little better if can we zoom in just a tidbit?
Let's see if we can get just the original tweet and share that on the screen, see if that looks a little bit better.
While you're doing that, our Aaron Rodgers came in with a super chat. Evening, fellas. Already looking at the Dallas game. Quest for Lombardi 5 is set. Let's go. Go Pack Go. Quest for Lombardi 5 is set. I don't know what that means.
I think you're saying the 5th Lombardi, right, Tim?
Oh, I see. No, that makes sense. I'm an idiot. Sorry, Aaron.
No, you're not an idiot, Jake. Are you kidding me?
That would be our 5th Lombardi, our 14th World Championship.
Gotcha.
There you go. I think it's about the best we can do here. All right. But I wanted to make sure that everything was accurate before we moved forward here. And just to kind of glance, one of the things that pops up here is, it's going to be 4 days apart. Wow. That's interesting, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. So let's go back. So Ryan did have that correct. Somebody in the chat was like 4 days apart. And I went, maybe that's a little off. But let's just go back to it real quick. So, what he's talking about here is whoever said it in the chat, shout out to them. You got Detroit week 1, September the 7th. That's that, 3:25 Central kickoff at home. And then you're back at Lambeau 4 days later on 9/11, Thursday night football. That's a 7:15 kickoff, obviously, with the Washington Commanders. That's going to be on Amazon Prime. So that's a real quick. Is that not the fastest turnaround in NFL history?
I've never seen that before. Not that I can remember. Tim, do you remember that? Because I remember they didn't even used to start the Thursday games until like halfway through the season, right?
I know in the last couple of years, though, they've been doing them a little bit earlier. And it's not completely without precedent to play on a Sunday and then play the Thursday game. That's why they usually try to not give you a Sunday night game. But it's kind of interesting to start the season this way on a short week. I will say the silver lining is you're at home. There's no travel. You're at home. You'll get to finish camp preseason. Open the season at home. Yeah, you're on a short week, but, like I said, no travel, another game at Lambeau, but 2 really tough opponents right out of the gate. So we're going to find out real quick who this 2025 Green Bay Packers team is, within the first couple of weeks of the season, I think.
Yeah. 2 for this says we play my cousin Colson Yankoff week 2. So there you go. If you guys remember that during draft time. So I believe that was that last year that he came out in the draft? Right? Yeah. Tried to stay away from talking about that specific prospect through the draft process personally. So, all right. So the next week, here's the positive to playing on that short week. You get 10 days, right? Kind of a mini bye the following week. It's going to be Sunday on the road, Cleveland Browns with the 12 noon Central kickoff on Fox. So Cleveland Browns coming up in week 3 on September the 20th.
Dub
City. All right. I like it. I like the confidence, Tim. I like it. And what we're going to do is we'll rattle through these kind of quick, and then we'll come back and let's just do a quick pick 'em if that's cool with you guys. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
Athem's just such a smart ass. He
says,
why is it the buy televised? I don't know, man. Tell you what. What are you guys' thoughts about that buy in week 5?
Me no likey that, Jan.
You'd rather have it later in the year because of the injuries and all that good stuff.
I like it right smack in the middle. That's your ideal spot. I think what did we have last year? Week 8, something like that. Week 9 bye. So it's a little bit early, but hey, stay healthy. It's no problem, right?
Yeah, I hate any kind of bye, to be honest with you, man. There's nothing more depressing than going, the Packers don't play this week, But it does give you an opportunity to have some stress-free football for one Sunday.
I got to think the early bye has something to do with the short week to kick off the year, right?
Probably does. That's a good point. That's a very good point. I don't know if the players like that or not, to be honest with you, though. But
yeah.
So again, Cleveland, week 3 there, noon Central kickoff. Then the following week, week 4, September 28th, noon kickoff. Dallas Cowboys on the road on Fox. All right, so you get to go across country and play the Dallas Cowboys. Week 5 is going to be the bye week, as we talked about. Week 6 is going to be October the 12th, 12 noon kickoff at home against the Bengals. So you're already getting a couple of, just one noon. I personally like the noon kickoff at Lambeau the most. I think those are awesome. Get your game in, then watch the second. By the time we get through with the post-game show, the 4:00 games are kind of winding down, or the 3:00 your all time are winding down. You get settled in for Sunday Night Football. I really like that.
And there's nothing like, walking towards Lambeau Field on a Sunday morning about 9:30, 10 o'clock. You're already 2 daddy sodas in and a bratwurst, Breakfast of champions, got to do it.
Emilio over here sending pictures of the trailer, trying to convince me he's working. What?
Such a liar, dude.
Take that Kirby down the street.
What do you guys think? So obviously, I'm in agreement that if I had to pick, I definitely would not select week 5 as my ideal bye spot. Tool for this says, I always thought that every team should have the same bye, just midseason, take a break. I would maybe tweak it, say that like both teams or half the league has a bye on week 8, half the week has a bye
like
on week
AFC,
9.
NFC or something.
Yes. Yeah. Even just half the team, you still have more than enough games to televise. You give the players a good reset, you know what I mean, on their body, and then you don't have so much of an advantage of, because what's the early? I think week 4 is the earliest they have buys, isn't that right? I want to say that. I remember.
Yeah.
So it's right. That to me would make more sense. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it would be great, like you said, do them both as close together as possible, right smack dab in the middle of the season. That way you don't feel like, certain teams get a little bit of an advantage with that late bye, if you see it that way. I personally, you know how I am. I'm kind of old school with this stuff. I don't care. I don't care when the bye is. I don't care who we're playing. Strap them up. Let's go. Let the better team win.
I've heard the rumor mill churning about potentially dumping another preseason game and adding another game to the regular season and adding a second bye week. So it could end up where, all teams get an early bye and then a late bye before the playoffs, kind of scenario. So we'll see.
Yeah. I know it's just weird because I know they harp constantly for the last few years, for a lot of last, 10 years, that they want to emphasize player safety, but they keep adding games and they keep, making stuff a little more difficult to really, for those guys to have adequate time to nurse their bodies. I don't know if you guys talked about it last couple of days, but Edgerrin Cooper talking about how it was so hard for him to feel like he was healthy enough, and Hafley talking about how he gained 10 pounds and how he knows how to take care of his body this year. It's like, if you keep adding games, these guys are going to just break down, I feel like, a lot sooner. But
no, I think it's a great point, and that's what, people always talked about with players coming from the college game is this is a whole different ball game. Like you're playing so many more games. Me being a Notre Dame fan, they're making it to the national championship this year. Spring ball this year, half the starters didn't even practice, didn't even compete in the spring game, spring practice, stuff like that, because it was literally they lost in the national championship. You turn around what seemed like a few weeks later and the season's already back again. Everybody's right back into training mode and all that. So, you get to the NFL and the season's much longer. Yeah, I can see what Edgerrin Cooper's talking about there. They're right there for sure. So, all right, moving on to, again, that was week 6 at home, 12 noon Central against the Bengals. And then you go back on the road the following Sunday. That's October 19th. 12 noon Central kickoff against the Arizona Cardinals. That'll be on Fox. Week 8, October 26th, noon Central, on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The question is, will they be the Aaron Rodgers-led Pittsburgh Steelers? I feel like they will. I think he's going to play for the Steelers. How do you guys see that situation? And man, I'll tell you, that's when I want to sit back, crack open a daddy soda, and just enjoy the ride, just to see, all right, does the old man still have it, or are the Packers going to prove we made the right decision?
Clay, that might be one we need to get on an airplane, fly out to Pittsburgh,
That
go
would be
see that one in person, possibly, if that truly does happen.
That would be a blast, man.
Yeah. I don't know how I would feel about it. I think that it would be, and definitely, it'd be surreal. I mean, I remember the first time that the Packers played Brett, and it just felt like watching your parents fight, and you're like, I don't know who to root for, but I think I'm going with Dad.
When he returned to Lambeau, that was the first game, I believe, right? If I remember right. I can't remember if he played in Lambeau first or if they played at the Metrodome first. Regardless, I loved it. And just full disclosure here, I was totally on the side of the Green Bay Packers. I felt like Brett was completely at fault in that specific situation. Like he changed his mind 3 times that offseason. They chartered a jet or a plane to go down, pick him up, bring him back up and announce it. And the night before, he canceled again. If you guys haven't seen the documentary, Last Day at Lambeau, it goes through that whole detail. And this isn't to bash Favre or Rodgers or anyone else. It's just telling you where I was at. I was like, man, screw that. Let's go kick his ass. And boy, it did not work that way. He came into Lambeau, and that place was rowdy. I personally loved it, Jacob, because it was like the crowd level was amped up by 10. It was just the hype leading up to the game. And then when they go into the Metrodome, it was like the Coliseum or something. It was just unbelievable hype around those games. I love that stuff. But again, I kind of look at things. I don't look at things like, what's the easiest path here? Or, man, I hope the Packers just blow them out. I want my Packers to win. But I'm all about, I don't know, man, just that challenge, That's why I don't get upset after – when we lose, yeah, I want the Packers to win. But when I get in the postgame show, I'm not in here going, oh, man, this sucks, blah. And, in a drunken rage like other people do on their postgame shows. It's all right. Let's figure out what happened. Why did it happen? Try to look at it the way the team looks at it. Let's dissect everything that unfolded and then move forward to the next step. But with the whole Brett thing, it was like, this is history. This is history right in front of us, And it's wild that we're going to be most likely playing Aaron Rodgers on the road in Pittsburgh. That would be a blast. I'm with you, though, Tim. That would be a fun one to go to. I need to see Acrisure. I'm still calling it Heinz Field. I don't care. But anyway, that's new. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. It's just there's so many different things like the Super Bowl rematch. You know what I mean? Now Rodgers playing for Tomlin it's just I don't think you could make up a better scenario. It's like you said, it's going to be. I'll get my popcorn ready. I'll just be extra nervous and probably throw up a few times.
Exactly. All right, next you've got the Carolina Panthers at home. They don't have a time there. I'm not sure why you hadn't listed a time or how accurate these times are. But again, feel real confident in the week, the day, all that good stuff. You've got the Carolina Panthers at home on November the 2nd on Fox. That's we don't know the time. So Panthers, I think they're a team that they could take a step forward this year. We'll see. But really love that you got another game there at Lambeau. And when you get into November, that's when you get in that cold weather football. I love those cold weather games at Lambeau Field. And I know there's many people that are upset that, like, at the end of the season, as you're probably starting to gather, you got a lot of home games in the first half. You're probably not going to have near as many in the second half. But you got some really important games being played at Lambeau too, like this one here on Monday night, November the 10th, against the Philadelphia Eagles, Monday Night Football. It doesn't get any better than that, man. The defending Super Bowl champions, the team that knocked you out of the playoffs, coming into Lambeau. It's going to be November 10th, probably going to be chilly that night. That's going to be a blast to watch there. So, again, another primetime game for the Packers. How many is that so far? 2? Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, somebody in the chat, Dan Lang, says that the Steeler game is actually a primetime game as well.
Yeah, there it is. So I just hit refresh. You see,
Look at that.
Yeah, good stuff. Appreciate that, Dan. We'll refresh it every time, every few minutes here because Ryan's still getting the information in. I know that. And shout out
to Clayton. Gas up the private jet. We got to make it Sunday Night Football. Let's do it.
That will be fun, man.
I got a jet. I got a guy. It's got a jet. We can work this out.
I know a guy. All right, forget about it.
I thought you meant you had to get off the show, Jay.
No, I'm like, peace. See you guys.
Got the cops at the front door. I gotta go, guys. You hear Jacob. I got a jet. The camera turns off. The mic stays on. You hear the glass break where he dives out the window. Right? Just a normal evening over there at Jacob's place. So yeah, primetime Sunday Night Football. That'll be awesome against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron, again, man, of course they're going to make that primetime, right? That's the perfect storyline. All right, so the following Sunday, we're at home against the Carolina Panthers. We talked about that. Then you got the Eagles, November 10th, Monday Night Football. We talked about that one.
Shout out to Bates. He'll probably be at that game for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Celebrating the Marine Corps' birthday and a Packers dub on Monday Night Football at Lambeau. How sweet is that?
Yeah. And Dan says noon game for the Panthers game there. So it sounds like that Sunday, November the 2nd will be a noon kickoff. Love it. Absolutely love it there. So, All right, next you've got on the road. This is Sunday, November the 16th. On the road, 12 noon kickoff, New York Giants, and that's on Fox. All right. Following Sunday, at home against the Minnesota Vikings, November 23rd. That's a noon kickoff as this sits right here on Fox. That'll be a fun one too, man. So you're getting into some cold weather there, right? As you get a little deeper into November. I always love those snow games at Lambeau. Like anytime we get past October, I'm looking at the weather forecast for every home game. Like, come on, give us some snow for this, man. I love it. All right. And then, of course, you've got up next November 27th, Turkey Day, Thanksgiving Day, 12 noon Central.
In Detroit.
Yeah, that's tradition, right, Tim? Like when you think of Thanksgiving Day football, whether you hate the Lions or not, they're always on TV. It's always in Detroit. It doesn't get any better than that, man.
I love it.
And it's before the turkey coma hits. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That 4:00 game, you're over there in the third quarter.
Oh yeah, you're dozing by the end of the first quarter. You're already nodding off. Yeah, this is going to be great, man. On the road in Detroit on Thanksgiving, a nooner. Let's go. Let's go 2-0 against the Lions this year. How about that?
There you go. Coach Lynn said this is a favorable schedule, in my opinion. We're going to pick them here in a minute. Just a way too early pick them. So we'll see what we come up with here. I like what Chuck says. Turkey Day ass beating. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do it. All right. PTA should do New York, Clayton. To the Giants game? Ooh.
Yeah. Go see Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and
the
whole gang.
I want to see Cam Scatterbull.
You say it perfect every time. It sounds just like Adam Sandler. Aaron, here's the problem, man. You know, everywhere I go, my wife goes too. Like we're road dogs. We go everywhere together. If we go to New York, I guarantee if she's watching the show downstairs, she's going, "Yep, let me go ahead and book the plane ticket so we can't back out." And what that's going to mean is Clayton is going to lose several $1,000s in shopping with me right over to the big city. She'll be right over there. You enjoy the game, and she'll be.
Yeah, you'll be across the river in Jersey, getting ready for the game.
Exactly.
But you could go get yourself a New York slice. So.
Oh yeah, it's true.
It's worth it.
All right,
Michael Scott style, Sbarro baby.
So after Thanksgiving, December the 7th, at home against the Chicago Bears, noon kickoff. Let's go.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
Dub, put it on there. Dub.
I'm loving this schedule, man. I'm loving it. And I've seen a lot of people hating on it, and yeah, I respect their opinion, but I really, really like the way the schedule lays out, man. I'm excited about it. Next, you got December 14th on the road, 3:25 Central kickoff with the up-and-coming Denver Broncos and Bo Nix out there. So that'll be a broadcast on Fox as well. And then, of course, only 2 weeks later, right?
That's weird.
Yeah, you got to go back down to Chicago, and it's got the Christmas thing, right? So I guess it's just saying Christmas week. Is that right?
Yeah, it's got a turkey up there too for Thanksgiving. I think that's just
just saying that's the week of Christmas, I guess. So it's going to be December 20th is what they're saying. So just a 6-day turnaround there on the road against the Chicago Bears. It says Fox prime time, so I'm imagining that's going to be the late game.
It's showing 3:30 or 7 p.m. Central for kickoff.
So they may flex that then.
Yep.
So got it. Good stuff. All right, so that'll be cold weather football in Chicago. Excited about that. Then you go You come back home December 28th, right, against the Baltimore Ravens. That's on Fox, 12 noon Central game there. We got a lot of 12 nooners, man. I love it. And then, of course, Week 18, January the 4th, the Minnesota Vikings on the road. That'll be on Fox, 12 noon kickoff there. I'm going to hit refresh one more time, then I'll scroll back down for you guys and make sure nothing's changed there. Doesn't look like it did. So that last little quarter of the season, anything you guys want to add there before we scroll back up and start picking these things, man?
Yeah, one home game.
Yeah.
To close it out, it's going to be a wild ride there. Denver, Chicago, Baltimore, Minnesota. So, I don't know. I'm not overly concerned. I don't think it's crazy, but we're going to have to finish this season on the road this year. 2 divisional games on the road, with a home game non-conference deal smashed in between there. So could come down to those, we've seen it before, man. Win and get in kind of scenario those last 3 to 4 weeks of the season. So something to keep an eye on there, having to do it on the road.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jacob? Anything stick out to you that last quarter before we pick these?
No, besides what Greg Rice said, Clayton loves his Nooners. Who doesn't? Antoine Roquentin says that 2 of the last 6 at home with the Mad
That's
face.
the big complaint I keep hearing, Jacob. What do you think about that, man?
Well, it's not ideal, I guess, but let's take a look at it. So if we start even with Detroit, that's just going to be a game that whoever's the best team in the NFC North, I think, is going to win that game, and it's just what it is. The next week, we're at the Bears at home. I feel like that at that point in the season, we should be able to be – I just feel like we're going to be able to take control of the Bears if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. If guys are executing like I think they should, I just feel like that game's no contest. The one that does make me a little nervous is going to Denver. I think that could be a sneaky good game. I think that being Week 15, they could be well into that playoff hunt and maybe looking to actually secure a playoff spot. But at the same time, again, you come back with the Bears. I think they're irrelevant. But I look at a team like Baltimore, Week 17, they could be playing for nothing. They could be sitting a ton of their starters at that point. I almost think it's more likely than not that they're in that path. And then obviously the Minnesota at the end of the year, that's just good football, man. And I really do think Minnesota is going to take a drastic step back this year. So by Week 18, they could be an absolute, imagine if by week whatever, insert here, JJ McCarthy is not the guy and they know he's not. I don't see them having resurgence on the back half of the season. So when you look at it on paper and you just look at each individual team, I get why people maybe could be like, oh, those are some good teams and 2 out of 6 at home. But when you really factor in what the season could do to those teams by that time, it makes me feel a little more optimistic.
Yeah. Josh Flanagan says, gosh darn it, I'm late to the party. You don't worry about it, Josh. We're going to scroll back up and we're going to pick these games, man. See, it's all good, dude. Don't you worry about it. Deadfish says, tell Mandy the Diamond District's right across the street from Hopsing, I guess is how you say it, where you can get the roast pork buns. There we go. See, I need her to bring me one of those back if we make it up there for that. I'll probably be asleep in the parking lot by the time she gets back over there to pick me up. So got to try those roasted pork buns for sure. All right, let's get to it, boys. It's put up or shut up here. Now, we're not even going to worry about the preseason. Obviously, it's not listed on this. Let's hit refresh one more time, make sure we're getting the most up-to-date information. Again, shout out to Ryan Schlip. If you guys want to go check this out, just go to his Twitter handle, @pack_daddy, and he'll have a link there. And I think he's going to keep this up all year long, too, which is cool because you got the countdown, the ticker, and everything. Ryan always just coming up with really, really cool ways to follow along in the season. So, make sure you go give him a follow over there and check out all of his content here at Packernet Podcast. So, Week 1, Detroit Lions at home. All right, at home. And I look at the divisional matchups like you got a really, really good shot of splitting games. I know it didn't work out like that last year, but I kind of go into every season going, probably going to be a split. Every now and again, I'll say, all right, we're going to beat that team both times, or in some cases, maybe you lose both those games. I'm going to say the buzz of Week 1, the Detroit Lions losing their offensive and defensive coordinator, right? They lost a couple key players as well. They tried to replace them. We'll see what's going on there. There's latest buzz is I'm hearing Trey Hendrickson may end up a Detroit Lion. I don't know how real that is, but we'll look into that. Let me hit the super chat, and then we'll get your all's take on Detroit. Jerry with the super chat. Thank you, Miss Jerry. She says, if JJ fails in Minnesota or gets hurt, we could be playing Rodgers leading the Vikings on the final game of the year. Woo! See, that's another thing, too. Like, many people they want Rodgers to sign with Pittsburgh, so you don't have to worry about him signing with Minnesota, right? I think that ship would probably have already sailed, Jerry, after week one. I think Rodgers wants to play. I'm kind of getting that vibe myself. I think he'll end up in Pittsburgh. So there's no way he'll be leading the Vikings. That's just me personally. Now, who knows? If they go through OTA, some people believe, and I don't know if there's any truth to it, but some people believe that maybe Rodgers is waiting until a flurry of OTAs go through, that maybe Minnesota looks up and goes, JJ's not ready yet, and they'll call Rodgers. Because I do think Rodgers would pick Minnesota over Pittsburgh. I mean, my goodness, look at their receiving core, right? They really the reason I expect the Minnesota Vikings to take a step back this year, I guess what I'm trying to say, is because of the quarterback position. I don't think J.J. McCarthy's going to step in there and play as well as Sam Darnold did last year. I don't even think Sam Darnold could step back in there and duplicate what he did last year. You've seen him kind of hit the wall at the end of the year. So, but thank you so much for the super chat there, Jerry. We appreciate you. All right, week one, Detroit. I'm going to call it a dub, boys. How do y'all feel about the Detroit Lions coming into Lambeau Field week one, 3:25 kickoff?
Spoiler alert, we're 4-0 going into the bye. So I'm taking the pack in week one. Let's go.
Right. Keep up with your all's wins and losses for me if you don't care. Okay, just mark them down.
I'm writing them down. I wanted to be pessimistic, Jacob, right out of the bat, but when I thought about it logically, I think that people are really sleeping on the fact that the coaching staff that was lost to the Lions was like the framework for that organization. Dan Campbell is a rah-rah guy and a player's coach for sure, but I don't think he's a genius in any way and a schematic type of coach. I think that it might take the Lions a few weeks to really get that fire underneath them again. So for that reason, I am taking the Green Bay Packers with the win in week one.
Love it. And Tim already said a dub, right? So we all picked a dub there in week one. Detroit Lions fans watching this are going, these a-holes. So week two, Thursday night football, short turnaround, man. You can't overlook that. Washington Commanders, but it is at home. Commanders looked pretty darn good last year, one of the hottest teams in the league there throughout the second half of the season, if my memory serves me correctly. That's tough, man. It's you don't want to get caught picking too many home games as a loss. But if there is a home game that I feel like the Packers could drop, this might be it. When you look at the matchups, you look at the coaching, they get Cliff Kingsbury back at OC. Nothing changes there. You got Jaden Daniels with 1 year under his belt. Now, does he hit the sophomore slump like C.J. Stroud did down in Houston, or does he take a step forward? That's going to be the big question. And obviously, you've got Dan Quinn. Is that right? I think that's who it is out there. Yep. That's the head coach that completely flipped that defense around. They're also getting Bobby Wagner back. Many people laughed at him for signing Bobby Wagner last year.
Not me.
Yeah, me either. I was like, really wanted him on this roster. So with that being said, I want to try to be realistic here. I'm going to say that's a loss against the Commanders just because of the short turnaround mainly. All right. What do you think, Jacob? I know Tim's got it as a dub, if I understood correctly. And Tim, you can add your thoughts into it if you like as well.
31-28 Packers.
All right. First of all, I'm not going to be taking shots from some guy in the chat that's supposed to be on the show. Where are you, Emilio? Donde está?
He forgot to remove the watermark on this picture he downloaded off the interweb of this trailer with Rock in it. We know you didn't take that picture, Emilio. You just downloaded it off the internet. So,
how many times are you going to come to my press conference late?
Hell, or not even show up. Go ahead, Jake.
I unfortunately am in the same sentiment as you. I reluctantly am going to say that this is a loss, and it's because of the short week, but it's also because of what you kind of just highlighted. I think that Washington's defense is just going to be coming out hot, and they're going to carry over from last year. You talked about how they got Bobby Wagner back, and I think you might see just a little bit of a sloppy offensive outing from the Packers, just because, again, early in the season, super, super early week. So I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Got it. And I think we're in the minority. It seems like the majority of everyone in the chat agree with Tim here. As you got Antoine here says, this is a great time to play the Redskins. Oh, I should have said it. Dub all day. All right, so there you go. Jaco, see, you got me. That's why you don't read the chat. Jaco says an L. All right, so he's on board with us there, seeing it the same way. Trying to see if we could just pick out the wins and losses. Everybody in the chat, let us know, okay, when we announce the game. say win or a loss. You can just do W or a L. Jerry says we'll go 2-0 to start the year. Love it. Love it. All right. Chuck says it's a win, right? Coach Lynn says it's a win. The majority of people are saying win. Greg Rice, all good, right? So there you go, Tim. They're on your side tonight here, sir, with that. So
It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a good game. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think we sneak away with a win, though.
Like it. All right. Up next, week 3, you've got the Cleveland Browns on the road. I think they've still got a whole lot to figure out up there, me personally. So I'm going to count this as a win for the Packers. Tim, I know you got it as a win as well. Jacob, what are you thinking about?
I'm going to go with a big old W. As much as I don't like Shadur and just that whole interaction, I think that he probably will end up being their starting quarterback. And even if he is really good, I think he's probably a lot better than people, whatever. I think he will end up being their quarterback, probably by week 3 if he's not the immediate starter. And I just don't think that that's going to go smoothly for him.
Got it. Tracy in the chat says that'll be an L. Mike Hebring says win versus the Commanders. Going back to that. Coach Lynn says W here against the Browns. J. Cole says that defense is no joke. It's a great point. It's a great point. Greg Rice says give me 3 dubs. Jerry says it's another dub. 2-0 for this says if we lose to Cleveland, it's really losing to ourselves. I think that's a great point. It's a very, very fair point. All good, says Dub. True D says we have big problems. We lose to the Browns. There you go. Tony Holman, dub. Chuck Jaggers, dub. Holmes, dub. United Bates, dub. Coach Lynn says 3-0 to start the season. Boy, that'd be lovely right there. That would be absolutely lovely. All right, moving along here now to the Dallas Cowboys on the road. Yeah, here we go. We got a primetime Sunday night game. All right, we got to get that sound drop back. I used to love watching Jacob get frustrated when we played that. But Sunday night, primetime, Jacob, I'm going to let you go first this time. We know Tim's got a dub here against the Dallas Cowboys on the road. What are you thinking, man?
At first I was going to say loss. I just don't think they've got enough puzzle pieces in place. They're so reliant on Dak and CD. Now they obviously added
new head coach, right?
New head coach. I don't know. I don't have confidence in the Dallas Cowboys still. For whatever reason, I just don't see them as a threat. I think they're the 3rd best team in their division, to be honest. So I want to go ahead and say that's a W.
Gotcha. And Tim, man, the Packers are pretty darn successful down there in Jerry World, aren't they, man?
Absolutely. For sure. Like I said, 4-0 going into the bye. I don't know if we'll get another boat race, but I think we get out of there with a pretty comfortable win in Jerry World for sure.
Yeah. Mike Hebring says 2-2 with the loss to the Cowboys. Got it, Mike. All right. I think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to how well that personnel fits what the new head coach wants to. Is it Schottenheimer? Is that who's down there? Is that Marty Schottenheimer's son that's down there, or Brian Schottenheimer maybe?
That was Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, I think that's Marty's son, the late great Marty Schottenheimer's son. So I'm going to call it a dub, boys. I think we can go down there in Jerry World and get that win. I do. So then, of course, you got the bye week. Only the Chicago Bears lose their bye weeks. Next, you've got week 6 here, Tim. Cincinnati Bengals at home on CBS. 3:25 Central kickoff. How you feeling about that? Jordan Love versus Joe Burrow. We'll see if they got Trey Hendrickson or not. They went and drafted Shamar Stewart in the first round. I'm not too concerned with that, to be honest with you. I think that's a developmental prospect. So what do you think there with Cincy, man?
I'm going to go dub here. We're at home coming off the bye. We've had kind of a up and down track record off the bye week in the past few years. Trending upward coming off bye weeks, especially at home. So, I'm going to take the dub here, 5-0.
Jacob, sir?
Well, I'm going to take Tim's logic that he just used and use it to form a different solution. I agree with Tim. We're coming off the bye. Therefore, it's going to be a lackluster performance, and I feel like they're going to come out flat, and it's going to be a little bit of a trap game, and Cincinnati is going to come in with a very, very potent offense passing game, and I'm just worried about that one. So I'm going to unfortunately say that's the second loss.
Got it. And I'm going to say a dub there against Cincy. And again, I had them going 3-1 in the first quarter of the season, starting off the second quarter of the season with a win here against Cincy. Next, you got Sunday, October 19th, on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. That's tough traveling all the way across the country. It is a 7-day turnaround, so you're good there. You got plenty of rest, obviously. On the road to the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to call that a dub, boys. I'm going to go dub here. Jacob, how do you see that one, man, on the road in Arizona?
Yeah, I just have never believed in Kyler Murray. He does not scare me whatsoever. And who knows? There might be some sort of new Call of Duty coming out that week, so he'll be nose deep in that sucker. The Cardinals did a lot of decent stuff in the draft that I liked, but I don't think that they've done enough to transform their organization into being an actual threat. And that's one. It's another sneaky game that could be a trap game, but I think we're coming out of there with a win.
Gotcha. Tim?
Dub.
All right.
I'm with Jacob, though. Probably a little bit closer for comfort than we would like. Like you said, Clayton, you got to look at the schedule and figure one of those games that you should win, that you might blow it, you might lose it. And that's what this Arizona game kind of looks like to me. But I'm going to say they squeak out a win.
Got
You
it.
know what, Tim?
Baby, let's go.
Tim sounds like, did y'all ever see that clip of Nick Swardson on some podcast last year when they're going through the Vikings season games and he just went dub, and he picked like, I think he went 17-1, and that's what they dub.
Hell, he wasn't too far off of the
No.
Vikings. They won 14 games, didn't they? Dang. All right. So, yeah, again, I had the dub there on the road in Arizona. Next, you got on the road in Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football, right? I'm going to call this one a loss, boys. I'm going to chalk this one up as a loss on the road in Pittsburgh for Week 8. What say you, Tim?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Jake?
First loss on my board.
Man, I'm weirdly confident. I don't care if it's Rodgers. I'm more worried that we would lose, to be honest, just because of the whole motivation and the rivalry and all that. But if it's not Rodgers, who are they going to have? I mean, I'm not scared of Mr. Rudolph, So is there a situation where a Kirk Cousins is somehow over there? Or, I mean, I don't know, man. At that point, you call Joe Flacco because he's better than probably anybody you got. So I'm going to say that it's a win.
Got it. Good stuff. Up next, Week 9 at home against the Carolina Panthers. I'll let you go first this time. Jacob, what do you think, man?
I think like Tim talked about Arizona, this one to me could be a sneaky one. Bryce ended the year a lot better than people give him credit for. They added some puzzle pieces, and I think they got a much better defensive roster this year. So I think that could be a sneaky one, but I'm going to still give us a win there.
Got it. Tim, what do you think, man?
Exactly what Jacob said. Another too close for comfort, but we squeak out with a dub. I'm taking the dub.
I'm taking the dub as well. So first quarter of the season, I had them 3-1. Second quarter, 3-1 as well. So I've got them sitting at 6-2 right now. And it looks like most people in the chat have them at 7-1. However, Mike Hebring says with the win over the Panthers, he'd have them at 5-3. So he's just one loss behind, one win behind me there. So, hey, listen, man, if you're telling me we'd be, 5-3 or like I said, a 6-2 after Week 9, I'm feeling pretty good about us. All right, let's create some real momentum going into the second half of the season, that type of thing. So, next, you got the Monday Night Football matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles. Man, I can't help but think what would have happened if we hadn't fumbled that opening kickoff, man. And I feel like we improved. The question is, did Philly improve? I'm sure they did to a certain extent. They did lose Milton Williams. I want to say they lost somebody on offense as well that was someone in the trenches. But it's tough for me to pick that one as a win there against the reigning Super Bowl champions. Now, can they do it? Absolutely. And if they do it, that's going to be that game, Tim, that all right, look, this might be LaFleur's year, right? If you can kind of get over that hump with Philly playing bully ball. But like I think Bates said here, and he's in the Philly area, Philly lost a lot on D there. So looks like the majority of the people are picking win there, maybe, or maybe not. Let's see here. Greg Rice said loss. Mike Hebring says a win, right?
Let's go.
All right. All Good says a loss versus the Eagles. I'm going to go loss here. I'm going to try to curb the enthusiasm for me anyway. So what do you guys see in Philly there?
Monday Night Football, prime time, at home, at Lambeau, Semper Fi, Marine Corps birthday, and it's a freaking package game. Let's go. We're beating the Eagles at home Monday
Are
night.
we allowed to be pro Marine Corps here? I'm not sure, because somebody in the YouTube comments earlier today said that they didn't like our politics because we supported the American flag.
Oh, Marine Corps ain't got nothing to do with politics, man. It's got everything to do with kicking ass. That's
Tim, I
all.
don't know. Some of these people in these Twitter streets nowadays, it seems like everything has something to do with politics. But anyway, go ahead, Jacob. What do you think, man?
Whew, I tell you what, Tim just convinced me. He changed my vote. I was gonna say loss, but Tim just got me quite excited. Shiver me timbers. I think that because of those reasons, and I just the recency bias, the Eagles, it's gonna be tough for them to continue the dominant.
Jan almost everywhere.
It's gonna be hard for them to carry. I still think of the Eagles as the Super Bowl reigning champs, but it's very rare that teams retain that much power and just absolute I guess winningness throughout every year into year. And like you said, they did lose a lot on that defense. Week 10, let's do it. I'm going to go with Tim. Tim sold me. I got to win.
Packers walk off. Brandon McMoney game-winning field goal. Okay,
See, I'm feeling so un-American right now, going with a loss here. I'm feeling like a sap, dude. Unbelievable. I'm going to stick to the loss, all right, because I'm just picking games here. I hope they boat race the Eagles, and I raise my voice for a reason because I'm feeling very un-American right now. But
Tim, I didn't know Clayton was yellow.
Yellow belly. All right, up next, you got the New York Giants on the road. Let's just go ahead and win right there. As long as they ain't got Tommy DeVito back there under center, we're good to go, right, boys? So, what do y'all think? Win or loss here, Jacob?
Dub. Give me the dub.
Tim, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, do we, boy?
I would say dub, but I mean,
you
could get Russ, you could get Jameis Winston, could get old Tommy Cutlets.
Is he still on the roster, Tommy Cutlets?
I think he is.
I think so.
Is
Yeah,
he
they got
really?
four.
I thought they got
Who did they just draft? Didn't they just draft a quarterback?
Jackson Dart, didn't they?
Yeah, so Jackson Dart, pick a quarterback. I mean, I don't know. I'm joking. I think it's a dub.
He still does play for the Giants. I'm getting worried now.
Dub.
What'd you go with, Tim?
Dub.
Dub. Love it. All right. Next, at home against the Minnesota Vikings, 12 noon kickoff. I'm going to call that a dub, boys. I like our chances there at home at Lambeau against the Vikings. What say you, Tim?
I feel like we're going to split with them this year. And they usually lose at home and then win on the road. That seems to have been the trend these past couple of years. But I'm going to go with you, Clay. I think we handle business at home. Dub against the Vikings. 24-21. Let's go.
Jacob?
I think I'm going to unfortunately disagree, and I'm going to say that we drop the first match against the Vikings, and we come around on the back end and split them 1-1. So I'm going to go with the loss there.
Got it. All right. Up next, you got the Detroit Lions on the road on Thanksgiving. Listen, this would depress the hell out of me, but I think we split with the Lions this year. So, unfortunately, it's going to be Thanksgiving Day for me that I say is a loss. I'm going to go loss here against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. What about you, Tim?
I'm going to respectfully 100% disagree. Belt to ass on Thanksgiving. 2-0 against the Lions this year.
Ooh.
Get it done. Dub.
That would be awesome, dude. That would be absolutely awesome. Take back the North, right, Jacob? What do you think, man?
Oh, man. We're coming off of a short week again. Only 4 days. It's away.
Well, get out of there. I didn't think
Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, this is going to be the first and only back-to-back losing games for the Packers this year.
Got it. All right. Up next, at home, December 7th against the Chicago Bears. I'm going to chalk that one up as a dub. What say you got?
That picture of Halfley is so perfect for moments like that.
Oh, it is, dude. It's great, man. What do you think here, Jacob, against the Chicago Bears at home?
We're going to be absolutely eating bear jerky because we already are going to be, we ate all the turkey. Now we're just shifting over to bear jerky, and we're going to wash out the bad taste in our mouth from the last 2 losses. We're going to just wipe the floor with the Bears. It's going to be embarrassing. Embarrassing. Get it?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
He's here all night, ladies and gentlemen.
He is.
No, I'm not. I got to go to work.
That's terrible.
Got to get the poll.
No, I think we're going to come off that dub. So we'll go from this to this back to back dub against the Bears. Let's go.
That's what I'm talking
You ready to go?
All right. Up next, you've got the Denver Broncos 2-0 for this. Not even the Pope can save the Bears. There you go. God, that was hilarious watching them run victory laps about him being a Cubs fan and ended up being a White Sox fan. Did you guys see that on Twitter?
Yeah.
His brother came out in the meeting. Was like, "Hey, boys, he's been a lifelong White Sox fan." Cubs are like, swing and a miss. Love to see it. Anyway, Denver Broncos on the road, December 14th. That's a tough one there, I think, man. Denver's a hard place to play, man. That's a loud stadium. I think Sean Payton, going to be one year closer to being, more prepared. I think Bo Nix 1 year under his belt. That's a tough one for me, man. I think I'm gonna chalk that one up as a loss on the road. If it was at Lambeau, I'd feel a lot better about it. But I'm gonna say, although it could be a Brandon McManus return game to Denver, right?
Yeah.
What if it came down to a big 61-yard field goal and Money McManus?
Tough place to kick, man. Tough place to kick the football. But if anybody knows how to kick at Mile High, it's definitely McMoney. So I don't know, man. I think I'm with you though, Clay. I think that's probably an L. I hate to say it.
All right, Jacob, what do you think, man?
That will be, unfortunately, 3 losses in 4 weeks for the Packers. Don't panic. I think you'll like the way that the season ends. I'm just saying.
Stick around. We're taking a commercial break. All right. Up next on the road against the Chicago Bears. That's going to be the week of Christmas. I'm going to say Dub City right there. So Packers going to win that one. Tim, what do you think, man?
Yep, I'll take it. It's the Bears. They still suck. Dub.
Yes, the Bears do still suck, and the good Lord Baby Santa would never let us ruin Christmas with the Chicago Bears winning, even during Christmas.
Heard it from a fan right here.
Yep.
There you go. All right. Next, you get the Baltimore Ravens at home, boys. That's, to me, that's going to be that. If we're kind of in the playoff hunt, right? Maybe we have the playoffs locked up by then, or we feel really good, 70, 80% chance of making the playoffs. That's going to be that game. All right, are we playing big boy football or not? Is this team ready to compete for a Super Bowl type thing? I think I'm going to surprise everybody here, and I'm going to say they get a dub against the Baltimore Ravens at home. And I'll tell you why. I know Lamar Jackson could throw the football, don't get me wrong. But what did Hafley do to this defense this year? He completely revamped the run defense. What do they like to do? Press into Derrick Henry, right? I think we shocked the world there against Baltimore at home at Lambeau on December 28th. So I'm going to go dub there.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I agree. It's just for a little bit different reasoning. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion, are going to be most likely sitting guys already. I think they may have already clinched their division. They are trying to save Derrick Henry, especially at the end of the year, to get him ramped up for some hardcore playoff football. I think that there's a chance that if it's a snow game, obviously Baltimore is not adverse to weather. But just all that being said, I think we're forgetting that the Packers have kind of molded themselves into being late season weathers, downhill type football with Josh Jacobs now behind that offensive line that we tried to get increasingly larger. I think that the Ravens end up sitting some of their starters. We have something more to play for. We end up taking a W.
Got it. Tim, what do you think, Bob?
Dub.
All right. There you go. So just a quick little recap. In the first quarter of the season, I've got them going 3-1. Second quarter of the season, 3-1. Third quarter of the season, 2-2. Fourth quarter of the season, 3-1. And then you got the final game of the season here on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. I had to sweep the Bears. I had a split with the Lions. The question is, do we split with the Vikings or not? last year the Vikings looked good. KOC is one of the great up and coming young coaches. If anybody can get JJ McCarthy ready to run his scheme and a quarterback friendly scheme, much like LaFleur, think of what LaFleur was able to do with Malik Willis, right, on short notice. I think KOC might be able to do that with our boy McCarthy, but I'm going to say the Packers sweep the Vikings as well. So I'm going to go with the dub here early. And you guys know when we do our win-loss total, this isn't set in concrete. When we make our final predictions for the season, you guys know I like to do kind of a range. Last year I said 10 to 13 wins is what I said, right? We finished at 11. I'll do the same thing this year, but we're just giving you guys the way too early predictions tonight. So everybody in the chat, put your total, your win-loss total. You've already done it. Hit it again for me, and I'll use Greg Rice as the benchmarker. That way we can get everybody's voice heard in here. But, Jacob, what do you think about Week 18 there against Minnesota Vikings on the road?
Yep. So in my scenario here, that's going to be a win, and it'll end up bringing the total to 12-5, which, if you guys remember, that was what I picked just as off the top of my head before we had the schedule. So mine's a little bit different than y'all's, but I think it's realistic. 12-5, a little bit of a rough stretch in between. So,
yeah. Tim, what do you got there in Week 18 against the Vikings, and what's your total, man?
I'm opposite a little bit. I got a splitting with Minnesota, so that's an L for me to end the year. I've got the boys at 14-3, of course, the most optimistic prediction on the show once again, second year in a row. Thank you very much. But yeah, like you said, Clayton, let's do this again after camp.
Right, exactly.
And let's try and put a range on it. Let's also try and myself included here, keep in mind we do have an extremely early bye week. So when you look at that last half of the season, any kind of potential injuries, guys being banged up, let's not forget we're without Scoot until at least Thanksgiving, probably at the earliest.
Right.
So, there are some variables, but just the way too early prediction for me is, I got them 14-3 so far.
Got it. Good stuff. I'm trying to go back here. I don't want to leave anybody out. I guess we'll just start. Let's start up here with Drew. I don't think he reposted in there. I've got him going. Go ahead, Jacob.
Mrs. Green says, Tim being considered the resident optimist is so wild to me.
We bring out the best in people here.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's like, my ass. You guys operate. Tim probably goes upstairs every evening after the show ready to pull his hair out, dealing with me every night. I've got the Packers going 12-5. Just, again, this is spur of the moment. Here's the schedule. I could see that being a realistic option. Now, as always, injuries are going to play a role in this. We talk about that all the time. Barring any crazy injuries, I could see the season playing out that way at 12-5. Let's go through the chat real quick and see what everyone else is saying here. Let's start with Drew D. Drew D says 10-7. You got a loss there, I guess, in Week 18. So he says the Packers are going to go 10-7. Got it. 2-0 for this says 17-0. All right. Greg Rice says 11-6. Coach Lynn says 12-5.
Let's go, Coach.
United Bates says we only lost 2 in a row, but they were the last 2, Greg. All right. Tony Holman, not to be confused with Tom Holman, he has them going 12-5. All right. Let's see here. Mike Hebring has them going 10-7. Drew D finished with 10-7. Thank you for reposting that, buddy. Appreciate you. Holmes says 11-13. I think Holmes is on the pop tonight. We'll see. I don't know. Not sure what that was about. I think he might have meant he couldn't have been 11-3. That doesn't add up either. Maybe
11-2-13 wins.
Oh, gotcha. There you go, Holmes. Good stuff, man. Thank you for deciphering that, Jacob. Michael Swan in the chat says 12-5. CJN says 11-6. Antoine says 12-5, but 10-13 wins. All right, got it. That's kind of I'm seeing on the surface. I'm kind of seeing 11-14 wins. To be honest with you. That's kind of where I'm settling in at. I got them winning 12, but I could see realistically 11 being the basement, barring any crazy injuries, of course. Tracy says 10-7. Richard King says 11-6. 2-0 for this says real prediction, though, 14-3. I can see it. I think a lot of things have to go right for the Packers. I think they've got to have the ball bounce their way in a couple of games. I think, they got to stay relatively healthy to hit that 14-win mark, but I think it's doable for sure.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
That's right, Coach. Jerry says 13-4. I like it. Matrix Jackson, I'm glad you're in here, Matrix. You won something the other day, bub. You won the autographed Bo Melton card, sir.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
It's here somewhere. I hope I haven't lost it. We'll get you some kind of prize if I've lost it. No, it's right here. Autographed Bo Melton rookie card, Matrix. Make sure, shoot me a text or an email, okay? 865-658-5824 or email me PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. 13-4. I like it too, by the way. So there you go. That's Jacob's number there, by the way. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Respect Oranges says
Tell him that.
Respect Oranges says 9-8. We're getting reffed. Man, that would suck.
Ugh.
J. Cole says 12-5. Have I hit these already? I feel like I'm just going back through them all again here. Hold up a minute. I think we're good. Gridiron Freak, pretty cool name. 12-5. All good. 12-5. Stacy Mitchell 11-6. Daryl says 9-7-1. Just because
How dare you?
Greg Rice says it's rigged. I'm about to give away, of course. Number one Packer fan says 13-4 Super Bowl champs. Go Pack, go! God, how awesome!
You heard it from a fan right here.
Packers with one of the youngest rosters in the league turn around and win a Super Bowl. That'd be awesome, man. Dan Lang in the chat says 14-3. Andy Monday says 12-5, but more importantly, surging as we hit the playoff. That's a great point, Andy. I'm glad you said it because that's the most important thing, right, guys? Is playing your best football as the season wraps up. Last year, it was totally the opposite. We were playing our worst football as the season wrapped up. And on top of that, we played the Eagles better than anybody else in the playoffs. So imagine if we had been kind of ascending into the playoffs. I think that's a great point. Great point. So anyway, you guys got anything else here you want to hit on before we wrap this big bear up, man? This was fun.
No, this is awesome. It's schedule's here, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important, like with the many things, to take your preconceived notions, your biases, thinking that what happened last year is going to be carried into this season is really important to do. And I'm not great at it either, but there's a lot of these teams that people think are going to be so easy to dictate whether or not they're going to be quote unquote good, that obviously we're going to have some surprises. That's what's fun about each year. So I'm just excited for another year of Packers football.
Absolutely. Very well said. 2-0 for this says that's not the Oval Office's phone number. I know. I Googled it. All right. Mrs. Green said 2-0 for this. Do you not have that on speed dial? 2-0 for this goes back and says, no, Tim's wife. I deleted it. The club I wanted was across the street. She says fair.
The club you wanted was across the street.
Just like
I think it's a tire shop across the street.
Hey,
in the front, but in the back, Tim, it's a different place.
I hear Billy Bob got a nice tramp stamp over there is what I'm hearing.
Billy Bob.
All right, that's it. This show sucks. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. There is your 2025 Green Bay Packers schedule release. Had a bunch of people watching tonight. If you would hit that like button, sub to the channel. Appreciate y'all making us a part of this festivities. It's somewhat of a holiday it's become here. And if you want to support the show, the best way to do that is join our Patreon community. Jacob thinks it's funny. Join our Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. You get access to all our chats in there just to be a part of the community, as well as all the exclusive content we're putting on there as well. So we're going to be doing a really cool charitable drive for the month of June. Excited about that. We'll get you guys some information on it, and we're going to attach a giveaway, an autographed Dontavion Wicks jersey to that. But there will be a giveaway this Saturday as well. I got to decide on what jersey we're going to do. So we got a Lynn Dickey in the hopper too, boys. Really excited about that. So
nice.
All right. Guys, thank y'all for joining us. Appreciate you, Tim, Jacob. You guys are awesome.
Thanks for having me.
And Emilio, thank you for slacking, dude.
Yeah, what happened to that guy?
Yeah, he keeps sending updated pictures of the gravel. I'm just not buying it. It's all right. Listen, you lie to your friends, I'll lie to mine, but let's don't lie to each other. So, all right, everybody have a great night. Appreciate you as always. Let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Be nice to somebody. Don't be nice to Emilio. Look right here. See, now he's going to send a video. Watch, he's going to be out in the field somewhere trying to sell this. He just went next door to the neighbors to try to make it look like he's doing field. Oh, ain't good.
Oh my God! Put his shirt on, bro.
Wait a minute. What is he doing?
Oh man, I'm glad. It was funny too because as soon as I seen he didn't have his shirt on, I took him off the screen. He tried to take himself off the screen. He put himself back on the screen. And now 2 over this is going back in slow motion trying to catch the perfect frame. That's what he's doing right now. So
We are officially demonetized.
Greg Rice, eat the tease. Jay Cole, Amelia, what the hell are you doing?
I know we were talking about cannolis, but keep your shirt on, bro.
Y'all have a good night. Bye.
There we go.
Bye, guys.